Don't let week 3 sneak up on you. These start-sit calls could be the difference between you starting a road to the championship or you falling to last place. Yo, what's good? Welcome to the playlist. Thank you for kicking it. I'm Jimzy, and this is Fantasy on Repeat. Today, we're doing my must-starts and sits for the week 3 of the fantasy football season, aka it's my Rolling with the Homies or Pour One Out segment. And the first homie we're rolling with is Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason was drafted by the fantasy community and traded for by the Vikings for this very exact moment. You have to remember that Jordan Mason was a fantasy darling last year in place of an injured CMC. And check out last year's week 1 stats, okay, for Jordan Mason. Week 1 against the Jets, 28 rushing attempts for 147 yards, excuse me? Week 2 against the Vikings, he had 20 rushing attempts for 100 yards. That's quick math, that's 5 yards per carry. You know what? The Vikings are like, we can use a guy like that. And I get it, there's news circling around that Cam Akers is coming off the streets, but I ain't too worried because KOC did want 1-2 punch for that running game, and so it makes sense. But then again, Jordan Mason showed in week 1 that he is a game changer that the Vikings need. And also, you tell me that the Super Bowl champion Carson Wentz is a downgrade from JJ McCarthy? Nah, I don't think so. I think we'll be straight. You have to check it out too that the Vikings have the lowest pass rate through these first 2 games, and that Jordan Mason has a total of 98 yards for these 2 games, right? I feel like in this game, he can probably match what he's done in the first 2 games in this 1 game alone against the Bengals. That's why we're rolling with Jordan Mason, man, because I feel like he can just do that. He's going to be that guy. He's going to have that dog in him. And the next homie we're rolling with is George Pickens. And I don't even know where to begin because I'm just so excited to talk about him. All offseason, George Pickens was the hype of a breakout league winner, and he just has astronomically high upside. He's been known to deal with bad quarterback play his whole entire career, but now he has a healthy top 5 Dak Prescott throwing him and slinging him the ball. If you look right here, the Cowboys are top 3 in passing attempts this year, which can only translate to success for GP3. George Pickens is known to not do well against a zone defense, but again, I told you, change up his route tree, stop having these 9 and go routes and all this and that, and switch up these slants and let him take it to the house. If you check it out, Jameson Williams was successful on 2 receptions against this Bears defense. Pickens' last game, he was targeted 9 times with 5 receptions with 68 yards and a tutty. So imagine the more volume that he's going to get against this Bears defense, what's going to happen. Like what I'm saying is Dak is going to slice up this Bears defense, and then we're going to see hopefully George Pickens' route tree open up, and then he's going to give us his W this week. All right, and the next homie I'm rolling with is Travis Kelce. I know the Chiefs and this offense right now is bleh, it's been disgusting. And they're saying Mahomes hasn't started 0-2 since his sophomore year in high school. But dog, that don't even matter. But if you think about it realistically, they're 0-3 since the Super Bowl. And they've been falling apart recently. But going back to like the positivity, because Mahomes, Kelce, and the Chiefs, they all have this winning mindset, right? Mahomes is going to go straight up to Kelce and they're going to big dog him and be like, dude, we got to get this back on track, man. If you look at the line too, Vegas has the Chiefs projected to win by a full touchdown. But then again, Mahomes is not going to be successful when he is the leading rusher on their team and just by trying to do these long balls. So I think they're going to condense the playbook again and kind of go old school and just cut it up with the old school Travis Kelce and kind of have him, you know, be the main guy, because obviously it's hard to trust any of the other guys until Rashee Rice comes back. This also feels like a sneaky shootout potential that nobody was expecting, like the Cowboys and the Giants. Look, Russ was cooking last week. Maybe we can get a vintage Patrick Mahomes because, man, his aura is just depleting right now. For the Chiefs, this is a get-right game, and you got to get Kelce in your lineup. The last homie I'm rolling with to cap it off is going to be Jordan Love. This Browns defense is mad serious if they can hold King Henry down to just 23 yards. That's crazy. But then on the other side of that, they let Lamar Jackson toss 4 touchdowns. So what makes you think that Jordan Love will not have a floor of 2 or 3 touchdowns in his pocket? He has been ripping it. So check this out. Basically, it says quarterback success versus A-Dot. And you can see Jordan Love all the way at the top by himself. This dude loves to sling it. And a nice little sprinkle on top is that Jordan Love hasn't thrown a regular season pick since week 11 of last year. So get him in your lineups because I feel like there's a lot of air yards to go around. But now, for his teammate, we're going to transition to the Pour One Out segment. As I mentioned, King Henry was stuffed. So be wary when you're starting this guy right here, Josh Jacobs. I know this one's hard to swallow, but peep the facts here. Chase Brown, stuffed. King Henry, stuffed. I'm also in the yikes category here. You know, there's always a possibility that he can fall into the end zone, but I feel like this week it's going to be tough sledding. And I do feel like the Packers want to keep his touchdown streak alive. Yes, of course, but you have to think about he's going to have to go through Myles Garrett. Jacobs is currently averaging 75 yards per game, and that's a 3.6 yards per carry. But this Browns defense, though, it's not a laughing matter. Through 2 weeks, they have allowed 2.1 yards per carry, 91 total rushing yards, and that's first in both categories. So yeah, it's scary. In another news, he just did pop up with a Tribe Called Questionable tag, so peep that out too. Alright, and the next player we're going to have to pour one out for is AJ Brown. Yes, I'm going to have to do it. AJ Brown is not winning you your week, and I know this for a fact. He's on my squad, okay? And check it out, underdog is coming in clutch. Jalen Hurts is the only QB without a passing touchdown through 2 games. AJ Brown this season has 6 receptions, 35 yards, and 0 touchdowns. And also, Kev from Rotosurgeon said, AJ Brown in 2023 through 2 weeks. 16 targets, 11 receptions, 108 yards, 0 touchdowns. Weeks 3 to 17, 141 targets, 94 receptions, 1,339 yards, and 7 tutties. We are not worried, but I am worried. So he's going to be riding my bench until I start seeing these touchdowns coming in, the yardage and everything. But who knows? Maybe when these touchdowns start, or maybe he'll get all these 7 touchdowns in one game and just have the comeback of a century. And another player we're pouring one out for is going to be Senor Kyle Pitts. Passing attack for the Falcons have been very If you think about it too, Mooney's getting healthier, so he's probably going to be more involved in the game plan as the season goes on. Look, I know it's enticing to start Kyle Pitts because look, check it out. As the Panthers have been letting tight ends running all over them. Look, you got Brenton Strange 4 for 59, and you got Trey McBride 6 for 78. And yes, they're going against the Panthers who currently look just completely lost. And we all expected James Conner to go off, but that didn't happen. But all of a sudden they did let Travis Etienne look like he was having a comeback season right there. They let Travis Etienne run all over him. So realistically, the crystal ball said this is going to be a Bijan Robinson and a Tyler Algier type of game. Now, my last player on my pour one out segment is going to be Baker Mayfield. Don't get me wrong, I am rooting for this man's success, but the way he's playing right now is just straight insanity. Like, literally, he's a madman. He should have gotten injured so many times last week, but when a dog's got to bark, a dog's got to bark. And look, obviously, he's continuing to stack these fourth quarter comebacks, but I just feel like this game is going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be even close. Unless, of course, a revenge game narrative happens because 7 years ago this week, Baker Mayfield made his NFL debut replacing Tyrod Taylor. And low-key, I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor. I hope he can find his way or his groove into an offense some way, some sort. And these cracks are starting to show for Baker Mayfield. The way he got Rachaad White speared was kind of nuts. And that's it. That was my must starts and sits for the week 3 of the fantasy football season. Thank you for kicking it. Until next time, peace.